Happy Monday, Piedmont Wellness community. Matt Green again here, bringing to your next Monday topic. And today we're going to be talking about strength versus endurance training. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what they are specifically, benefits of both and how they both kind of play with each other, and then of course how to train for each of them. Now before we start, let's really talk about the differences between the two. So if we look at strength training, or what strength actually is, its definition is max force output. How much force can a muscular contraction produce? So if you're going to be looking at anything such as a bench press or a squat or something like that, a true strength test is going to be how much force or how much weight can you actually lift. Now endurance on the other end of the spectrum is going to be repetitive muscle contraction over a period of time. So I want you to think about things such as running, or if you're going to choose a higher repetition level when it comes to any resistance training exercise that you may choose. And here's just a great visual aid of what it looks like on a spectrum in terms of what each one is. So strength is going to be how much you can lift for a 1 repetition maximum. Versus endurance, in terms of resistance training, is going to be looking more at that 15 plus rep range, or things like cardiovascular training such as riding a bike, running, whatever it may be. But those two are the ends of the spectrum and how the definition is defined. Now let's look at the benefits of strength training. So here are just quite a few of the more substantial ones, and of course there are cons to any sort of training modality out there, but let's really focus on the benefits. First, we have the increased ability to lift heavier loads. So when it comes to things that you may be doing on a day-to-day basis, maybe it's gardening or anything else that requires you to lift a load, doing strength training is going to have direct correlation to that. Of course, increasing bone mineral density for those who have osteoporosis or osteopenia or higher risk of developing bone disorders. Strength training can truly improve that bone mineral density, decreasing the opportunity for them to fracture and break. Then we look at tendon and ligament strength. Again, those are the things that tie our bones together, tie our muscles to the bones. And for those of us who may have had some sort of injury, whether it's from a rotator cuff tear or anything else, having greater strength and doing that type of training can improve their overall strength, reducing their injury chance. Of course, increasing confidence when we can handle heavier loads, and it boosts our confidence inside the gym and out. And then of course our activities of daily living, like I mentioned before, the more you're able to lift, the more it's easier to do your activities of daily living, and of course decreasing that injury chance that takes us out of the gym or whatever we may be doing. Now let's look at endurance training, as this one has many benefits that coincide with strength training and very well complement one another. Obviously, one of the first big things that endurance training will do for us is increase our cardiovascular health. Our heart is the number one, is the organ that pumps blood throughout the body, and without that, it's going to make it very difficult to do anything in our daily lives. So the more we do endurance training, the greater opportunity we have for improved cardiovascular health. Next thing we have is energy production. So when it comes to endurance training, you're going to be training your body to produce energy at a higher rate so you don't get as fatigued as easily, whether it's through exercise or activities of daily living. You're going to have increased energy production. Then of course we have recovery capacity. So whether it's doing other modes of activity, when you have a better overall endurance capacity, recovery is going to be improved, so you're going to be able to recover between sessions of exercise faster, or even between exercises that you may be doing, end up doing more work within a shorter period of time. And then energy conservation. When your body is more endurance trained, it's going to be able to utilize the energy it produces in a more efficient way so you can do work longer. So to wrap up this conversation, let's look at how we're going to train for each one of these. Looking at strength first, when it comes to inside the gym and resistance training, we're going to be looking for about 1 to 6 repetitions. If you're looking for something more speed related, then of course you can look at that as the number of times you'd be sprinting for a certain amount of time. Intensity is going to be between 80 and 100% of your 1 repetition maximum, or your heart rate. And if you're going to be doing more, I say cardio-based movement, again, that sprinting type of component. And then of course we're going to have an increased amount of rest because we utilize a lot of energy during this period of time for that maximal muscle recruitment. So we need to make sure that we're giving ample time for our muscles to recuperate that energy necessary. Hence where endurance can come into play, because it can shorten the amount of rest you need between bouts. Now, shifting over to endurance, we're going to be looking at 15 plus repetitions. And endurance can go very, very high, whether it's into the 30s, 40s, so on and so forth. Now, one thing you have to be cautious of is, we don't want to go super, super high with the repetitions, because we still need to maintain that intensity. If you can end up doing, 30, 40, 50 repetitions, the intensity may be too low to really get a true benefit out of it. So intensity with endurance training is between 40 and 60%, where you can maintain that type of lifting or running for a consistent period of time, for an extended period of time. And of course, rest is going to be on that lower end because the intensity is so low and our body's ability to produce energy is much greater than it would be over here. So rest is not as important. So this concludes our Monday's topic where we talked about strength and endurance and how to train for them. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and stay tuned for next time.